Hey YouTube, 15 Dragon Blade here. I'm going to be doing my Traptrix profile today. It's a deck that a lot of people have been waiting for. I don't think I have posted it on YouTube because I had to do a lot of tweaking and I had to get all the cards for it. Now that I have everything, I will be able to start doing the deck profile. So, I'm going to go into discrete detail with this deck. 3 Traptrix Vermelio. She searches out a normal trap hole card from your deck to your hand. When she's normal summoned, when she's special summoned, you can target one spell and trap on the field and destroy it. And if I remember correctly, it is from either side. No, it's from your opponent controls specifically, so it targets your opponent's spell and trap and it pops it, which is really, really nice. You use her to set up your defense. You normal summon her, you start getting traps and start establishing control. This deck is all about control. Once you have your whole cards from your deck to your hand, if you have Traptrix on the field, she basically can nail you pluses because you get to normal Vermelio, you search for a trap, you normal Traptrix if Vermelio is protected. Then you make sure to keep your whole cards in your hand. She allows you to activate them from your hand. So if your opponent has a monster, you can activate the whole trap card from your hand, and they cannot be negated, which is nice. The effects of the normal trap cards in general, it just says normal trap cards, so it could be for the holes, it could be for your Mirror Force, stuff like that. They cannot be negated. So she helps establish control. And then finally, the newer Traptrix, which is the one that I recommend you run 3 of, or 2 of at least, Traptrix Deonia, because when you normal summon her, she specials a Traptrix from the grave. If you special herself, she sets a trap hole card, and it stays there for practically 2 turns, into the end phase of your next turn. If it's still there, banish it, which is alright, you know, I mean, she lets you have a whole card just in case your opponent wants to summon something, and there you go. Deonia, though, can be used to special Traptrix. It can be used to special Vermelio to pop a back row. It's nice. And their effects are not negated, so you get to get their effects off when they're special summoned, which is really, really nice. So, she's the only plant of the Traptrix besides the Peethies, which I don't think anybody runs at this point. But, yeah. 6 of them are insects. So, 1 Doomdozer teched in for just 1 boss monster. Now, there's also some other cards that you have to have in here. These are just the tech choices. 1 Redox, because almost the entire deck is Earth monsters, counting some of the hand traps and all the Traptrixes. They're all Earth monsters. The Doomdozer's an Earth monster. You could just keep cranking him out for days and synchroing for 8 and just having defense. It's nice. 1 Gores, because you need 1 aggressive hand trap. It's a ghost gold rare Gores. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, 1 aggressive hand trap. The other hand traps are pretty basic. 2 Veilers, and I finally got another pair of 2 Maxis. Also, the good part about a Maxi is that he's also an insect, so you can use him for Doomdozer, you can use him for Redox, because he's an Earth monster, and of course, you know, the draw power is nice, because this deck doesn't have too much draw power. It has consistency, but you need as much draw power as you can. You need to get into your holes as soon as possible, because that is basically your netting pluses. You need to set up your defense and make sure that you keep Traptrix on the field. Vermelio you can exceed off with Deonia or whatever, but you need Vermelio mostly to pop the back row and to search. So he's a very key card. Traptrix is just there kind of to sit, so that way you can establish your field and start, you know, netting your pluses. Start setting up some defense for your opponent's monsters. And then a Tour Guide Engine, a Tour Bus, a 9 Assailant, and 2 Tour Guides. Because you're going to need to go into Levier and Zenmain sometimes, and when those times present themselves, when you banish with Redox, it nets you pluses, because then you special him, he pops a card, and so on and so forth. Spell cards. Whole Sarcophagus, that one, and of course you need your 3 Duality, for consistency, pot of consistency. You need to get into your stuff quickly. 3 MSTs, because the back row is an issue. You cannot let them 7 tools, you cannot let them dark bribe you. You get rid of all that stuff immediately. And tech of mine, 2 shrinks. Most of the monsters in this deck can handle themselves pretty well, but considering that there's always that card that will get over them, you can use this to have their attack when they do during the damage step, and they die. So that's always good for shrink. And finally, now we go to traps, which is the most important part. 2 Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. When your opponent special summons a monster and they activate their effect that turn, negate the effect and destroy that monster. Very good. You want to search out for this one when you know your opponent has a special summon deck. And then there's the other 3 hole cards. There's one of Trap Hole, which I might be running too soon. Bottomless, obviously, and Deep Dark. Deep Dark is more of a tech choice because there's a lot of people at my locals that have level 5 or higher monsters that they exceed with because they use heretics and whatnot. But I might put in Trap Hole soon as well because Trap Hole to me is a little bit better and it gets rid of all those problem monsters. Setting up that defense is important, but Bottomless and Trap Hole usually take care of everything more. If you know they have something like Evil Swarms and stuff like that, you want to go for Trap Hole anyway. So I'll side out, particularly, I'll always side out that particular card, and I'll always put in like a Trap Hole or something. Trap Hole to me is a little bit better for normal summon decks. 1 warning, obviously. 2 Hall of the Haunteds to get your stuff back. And then the 1 of a Mirror Force and a Torrential, obviously, to start nuking the field. Mirror Force is at 3 now, so we'll be seeing a lot of field popping. Anyway, that's what MST is for. So, extra deck. The 2 rank 3s you have is Zenmaines and Levier. Very, very important. Very, very important. If you don't have anything and you just draw into a tour guide, you make him. If you have Mermelias that are banished, then make him. Levier is a go-to. You have to make him. If you see that chance, you have to make him. He is not a bad card, and you need to start getting your stuff back that is banished, because I can guarantee you, you banish with the Doom Dozer and you banish with Redox. So it nets you pluses. Utopia, because it's Utopia. A Black Ship. These are all rank 4s, by the way. Black Ship just to inflict that damage and start putting stuff on board. Batman Direwolf, a lot of people are against it running in this deck, but again, he's a 1-for-1, you know, pop him, you pop something, it's not bad. There's a lot of popping in this deck, so usually you don't have to worry so much about the back row, because you have the MSTs and Mermelia's effect to do that, but just in case. And another, you know, response that I have for level 5 or higher decks, you need Steel Swarm Roach. Maestro Symphony Djinn, again, if it's first turn and you're wanting to establish, make this guy and just, you know, stack him. I say make the defense monsters first turn when you know they have a huge back row. Start setting up your plays because you don't know what they have. Geiger Cowboy again for that extra damage. Here's something that not a lot of people want. Rhapsody and Berserk. You can target a face-up XYZ monster and equip this card to it, and it gains 1200 attack. And you can detach more than once. You can detach twice, and you can banish something in their graveyard. Yeah, it says 1 card, so you can target whatever's in your opponent's graveyard that you're afraid they're going to use on you. So you can target a Break Their Skill, you can target monsters, just a bunch of stuff, and you can do it twice. Then you can do it twice and equip into an XYZ monster, give them attack. That's always nice. Synchros. 1 level 5, we have Catastor, because obviously the Veilers and Traptrix. Gaia Knight, Force of the Earth, which is a 6. Then Stardust Dragon is an 8. Just, you can make 8s with Redox, so it's possible. And Thought Ruler and Scrap Dragon for the other 2. Scrap Dragon I usually never go into anymore because I usually have a field established, but I will go into Thought Ruler because there's very few times that I'll take some life points and I'll need to get those life points. and a tech card, Double X Saber Gothams. Double X Saber Gothams is pretty good. 31 beat stick, and it can get over a lot of stuff. You make him with a Veiler and 2 Traptrixes, so that can be, obviously established that way. It would not be recommended that you do that with Redox, but you could also make him with Scrap Dragon and a Veiler, but I would never, ever get rid of a Scrap Dragon for that. Anyway, part of the day is Traptrix Vermelia. Thank you for watching. 13 Dragon Blade signing off.